Hey Strategy Simplified, Naman here, Chief Operating Officer of Management Consultant, and I am so excited for today's episode where I will break down our 2023 Consulting Salaries Report that just published yesterday. Inside of the report, you'll see compensation info for over 90 consulting firms across 2 entry levels, both pre-MBA and post-MBA. Inside of the report, we don't just break down starting base salaries, but we also break down performance bonuses, signing bonuses, relocation assistance, retirement benefits, profit sharing, and more. You can download your free copy of the 2023 Consulting Salaries Report through the link in the show notes. Let's dive in. Welcome to this special episode of Strategy Simplified. Today, I'm breaking down Management Consultant's 2023 Consulting Salaries Report. Now, before I go any further, I have to let you know that you can download the full report through the link in the show notes. Now, if you're a regular listener of Strategy Simplified, chances are you're interested in breaking into a career in management consulting. And one of the biggest considerations that many prospective candidates have is salary and compensation. And so today, I'm going to be unpeeling the onion that is consulting compensation in 2023. Let's dive in. Now, before we talk about 2023 salaries, we have to understand that we're really talking about the year 2022, because the year 2022 is when consulting offers are handed out with 2023 start dates. So when I say 2023 consulting salaries, I'm really talking about consulting offers that had start dates or do have start dates in 2023. It's important to know that many of these offers were handed out in 2022. And in one important way, 2022 offered a continuation of what we saw in 2021, one of the tightest global labor markets in recent history. This, coupled with continued strong demand for management consulting services, gave us the expectation that consulting compensation packages would rise across the board. We were not disappointed. At both the pre-MBA and post-MBA entry levels, 2023 consulting salaries rose substantially. In fact, base salary growth rates increased year over year for a second straight year after recording a decline in 2021. And base salaries grew at roughly the same rate as the last major increase we saw in 2019. Still, the increase was noteworthy for 2 major reasons. First, these salary increases, unlike in 2019, came amidst a period of high global inflation. This delivered a less substantial purchasing power increase to new consultants than what we had seen in years past. Second, salaries and bonuses rose industry-wide, not just at a select few firms, democratizing compensation increases across firms and across entry levels. Now, as our team predicted last year, this year's comp growth took place at both the pre-MBA and post-MBA entry levels and was global in nature, although it was most pronounced in the US market. While we did see salary growth in markets outside of the US, an outsized portion of global salary growth took place in the US due to the strong domestic demand for consulting services in conjunction with the competitive US labor market. While many firms aim to achieve parity in purchasing power for employees across geographies, this isn't often achieved. And it's important for folks, especially in non-US markets, to understand that the purchasing power of US consultants is often stronger at the same level as consultants in different geographies. Now, firms did more than simply increase base compensation to attract new talent. Many firms increased the total earning power of consultants by increasing the maximum performance bonuses they could earn. In addition, firms like BCG updated their entire compensation structure to increase salaries for consultants at every level, aiming not just to attract new talent, but retain existing talent as well. Finally, firms across the consulting spectrum enhanced other benefits as well, including increased profit sharing, here's looking at you, LEK, unlimited PTO, and improved retirement contributions. In general, firms are either offering increased variable compensation, like higher performance bonus caps, increased profit sharing, or more attractive lifestyle perks, Think unlimited PTO. The type of perks that a firm offers reveals an interesting insight into the type of candidate it hopes to attract, its work culture, and its own perception of its market position. So this is one of the things that I recommend you pay attention to as you're contrasting and comparing different firms. Is my compensation geared more towards increased variable comp or increased lifestyle benefits? There's no right or wrong answer here. There's just an answer that you like better than perhaps another candidate will. I know for me, I'd much rather prefer the increased variable comp as opposed to increased lifestyle perks, at least at this stage in my career. Now, as we move into 2023, which again is when offers of 2024 start dates will be handed out, we're expecting a cooling in the war for talent between consulting, Wall Street, and Silicon Valley. Economic conditions have cooled IPOs and M&A activity, leading to layoffs at big banks and an expectation that incoming analyst cohorts will be smaller this year. Furthermore, a rising interest rate environment has significantly increased the cost of capital in Silicon Valley, which has led to belt tightening across big tech. What does this mean for you and for consulting salaries moving forward? Well, the risk of high fixed cost salaries increased in finance and tech, which leads us to believe that salary growth for entry-level consultants will also slow this upcoming year. Now, as we look towards 2024, we predict that compensation growth in non-US markets will outpace compensation growth in the US. Salary growth has typically been on a flatter curve in those markets, and this should be the year that the curve begins to catch up a little bit. In addition, we still expect that firms will begin to hit the upper limits of their pricing power within the next decade as the competition between established players grows ever fiercer. This, in addition to already high utilization rates, may spur firms to begin to prioritize cheaper pre-MBA hires as opposed to more expensive post-MBA ones. We believe we are starting to see this play out in the market, as evidenced by the substantial compensation increases for pre-MBA hires across firms. We also predicted last year that M&A activity would continue across the management consulting landscape. The same two patterns we identified a year ago held steady in 2022. First, large firms acquired boutique strategy houses instead of organically building their own strategy practices. A great example, last January, Alex Partners acquired strategy consultancy Galt & Co. Second, traditional strategy firms acquired specialist players across sectors like cloud services, supply chain, sustainability, and others. For example, last year, Bain acquired supply chain consultancy Proxima. We expect this activity to slow down in 2023 due to higher interest rates and general economic uncertainty. Overall, the management consulting industry has never been stronger. As global economies continued to recover from pandemic effects, the industry posted another year of double-digit growth, driven largely by increased digital, S&O, and supply chain work.
Are you looking to break into consulting this year? Management Consulted has tons of online resources to help you make the leap. Do you need to optimize your resume for applications? We can help. Need to prep for case interviews? We've got you covered. Or need to build skills for the job? Well, you're in good hands. With thousands of free articles and videos, along with paid ways to engage, we've got everything you need to be confident that you're on the right track. Visit managementconsulted.com to get started today. But if you're not sure where to start, just send us an email, team@managementconsulted.com. We'll direct you where to go or hop on a quick call to answer your questions. We can't wait to walk with you. Again, visit managementconsulted.com to get started on your journey into consulting.
Still, there are warning lights flashing on the dashboard as we head into 2023. Like last year, industry growth continued to be driven by a small core of established players. While the number of market entrants did increase in 22 compared to 2021, M&A activity and the shuttering of some boutique firms during the pandemic mean that there continues to be less overall competition in the market than there was 5 years ago. In addition, there are signs that global macroeconomic activity will remain flat or even decrease in 2023. If this bears true, demand for consulting services could fall. Still, this decrease in economic activity should also cool the competitive labor market, which in turn will cool wage increases. As a result, we expect industry margins to hold steady next year. Now that you have some context for what the consulting salary landscape looks like for 2023, let's take a look at what the top of the market looks like for both post-MBA and pre-MBA entry-level hires. Keep in mind, this is the top of the market, and you can see full numbers in the report itself. At the post-MBA entry level, at the top of the market, you can expect a base salary of about $192,000 US, a performance bonus of $60,000 or above, and a signing bonus of around $35,000. If you're up to speed on your mental math, that's a total comp package in year one of around $280,000. Similarly, at the post-undergrad or pre-MBA entry level, at the top of the market, you're looking at a base salary of about $112,000, a maximum performance bonus of around $30,000, and a signing bonus of around $5,000. Again, if you're doing the math, that's almost $150,000 in total year one comp. Keep in mind, these are numbers for the US market, and you can see international numbers inside of the report. So what does this mean for the industry and for you moving forward? Well, continuing a trend that we first noticed 3 years ago, staff compensation rose across consulting firms while project rates stayed relatively flat. Due to this, we draw 5 main conclusions about 2023 compensation. First, firms responded to strong market demand for their services by luring top talent with meaningful increases in starting comp packages compared to last year. This was partly to keep pace with big tech and finance before we saw slowdowns in those sectors, but also to keep pace with Fortune 1000 internal strategy practices, who are rapidly expanding. Second, consulting firms are continuing to differentiate using comp packages as a tool. More generous profit-sharing plans and unlimited PTO are becoming more widespread, and the firms who offer these benefits have a decided advantage over those who don't. Third, the total comp gap between top firms and everyone else is widening. Now, I've already mentioned that most firms offered increased base salaries this year, but the top firms, the ones who drive outsized industry growth, were able to offer dramatically higher variable compensation, more generous benefits, and less travel as well. With more attractive comp and lifestyle perks, there may be less reasons than ever for top candidates to choose smaller firms. Fourth, consulting margins are shrinking. As project rates stay steady and salaries rise, firms risk lower margins in the years ahead. If they cannot wield pricing power, firms may transition in the future to staffing smaller teams on each engagement. Fifth, consultant utilization is decreasing from its pandemic-era peak, which should increase retention and potentially reduce hiring in 2023. In summary, there are signs that the competitive labor market will cool down this year, giving consulting firms leverage to keep starting salaries flat and disincentivizing current consultants from leaving for other higher-risk opportunities. If you're interested in breaking into consulting this year, work with Management Consulted to maximize your chances in what is sure to be an incredibly competitive cycle. We'll help you identify target firms and roles, we'll edit your resume, and of course, we'll help prepare you for the case interview. You can learn more through the link in the show notes. So there you have it. Those are the macro level trends that we're seeing around 2023 consulting compensation. Again, you can see the full breakdown of all the numbers inside of the salary report, where we break down compensation for over 90 consulting firms. Download the report through the link in the show notes. Thanks for listening to this episode of Strategy Simplified. Did you like what you hear? Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Again, you can download your free copy of the Consulting Salaries Report through the link in the show notes. We'll see you next time.